All right. We'd like to start out by saying Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh Shai,
Barakatah Yahweh Shai,
Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh,
Ba'ashem,
Ba'ashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Ba'ashem,
Ba'ashem,
all right, Harakah,
Harakah,
Kodash.
Kodash.
Um, as you can see, I'm here with the brothers from England, and I was actually gonna just do a quick live show before before we went and did whatever we had to do today. But the brothers are here. They're gonna join me. We're gonna hit a couple of scriptures, um, and just go into this topic because this guy, so real or so wrong, as Apostle Torah calls him, he made a statement in his video that there are no nations, and that's his. See, that's what these guys do. They just make statements without any proof, and then people out there, they just accept whatever they give them. That's why, matter of fact, we could start off. What is that? Is that Proverbs 14? The simple believeth. Is that Proverbs 14, 20? What is it? 26, 29? Deliver souls, see for witness, speaketh lies. Just bear with us. If any brother know where it's at, just grab it up.
I got it. I got it.
All right, go ahead. You got
it. Proverbs 14, verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going."
Right. It says, "The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going." So I guess this guy didn't really think that straight, through. When he made the statement, "There's no more nations." How could there be no more nations when the Most High created nations? Matter of fact, let's go real quick to the book of Deuteronomy 32. Let's start at the first verse, but the point is down around the 8th verse. Let's just start off there, just to get it, just to get the ball rolling.
All right, this is Deuteronomy 32, verse 1. It says, "Give ear, O ye heavens, and I will speak, and hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. My doctrine shall drop as the rain, my speech shall distill as the dew, as a small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass."
Right, because so bottom line is this is according to the Most High's doctrine, not according to your doctrine. He's the one that gave the inspiration to write the scriptures, not you. So because you say that there's no more nations, does that negate the fact that there's nations? Like these mother effers, I'll refrain from cussing. These mother effers, they try to negate the scriptures by just saying, well, that's not no longer an issue, But the Most High created these things. He's the one that made them. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Because I will punish the because I will publish the name of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Ascribe ye greatness unto our power.
Right, because it's going to be known that Yahweh is the power of the heavens, the God of the heavens, the person that the world calls God or deems God, whether they call him Jehovah, Yahweh, or whatever they call him. His name is Yahweh. The world is going to know who this God is, who this power is, because there's no other power under heaven or over the heavens but Yahweh. So he's going to make himself known, well known to the world. Go ahead.
Right. He is the rock. His work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment, a God of truth and without iniquity, just and right is he.
Right. So he everything that he did and does is just and it's right. Go ahead.
They have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children.
Right. They have corrupted themselves. So these Israelites, they have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children. So the way he created us or intended us intended for us to be created, our people went out of the way of that, which basically we all went out of the way of that. And I like to say shalom to the Akim on the comment boards, but we all went away from the way the Lord created us. So we all became corrupted, but you have these Israelites today that are continuing on in that wrong path. They have blemishes, they have spots, and they refuse to cleanse themselves up of those spots because they're blinded. Go ahead.
They have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children. They are a perverse and crooked generation.
Right. They are a perverse and crooked generation, because what they do is they take the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and twist them, you know, and then they blame, they try to put that on us, that we do that. No, we don't do that. We teach what's being taught in the scriptures. You know, it's just that you don't have the proper understanding. You know, that's why you make foolish statements as there's no more nations. You know, that's what the so-called white man's try to do. That's what Esau's trying to do. They're trying to do away with nations, you know, and that's part of the New World Order agenda, to do away with nations and amalgamate everybody into one. That's why, you know, you have all these different people having sex, you know, with other nations, and the babies are coming out looking different. But when you trace that line back, that child is whatever the father is, no matter what that baby looks like, you see. But they're trying to do away with that word nation, because that's part of the New World Order. E pluribus unum, out of many one. So they're trying to incorporate all people as just being one human, one human family under the heavens. And the Most High didn't do that. And we're going to read where the Lord made a separation. Go ahead.
Right. Do ye thus recute the Lord, O foolish people and unwise? Is not
right, because you are foolish people and unwise. And who is more foolish than the Lord's people, the Israelites? None. You're the most foolish people on the planet Earth, you know, because the Lord revealed himself to us through his knowledge, wisdom, understanding, law, statutes, commandments, and we chose to go the route of the other nations and follow their demonic ways that don't benefit. And look where it's gotten us. It's gotten us way down in the bottom of the pit, you know. Now the Lord is allowing us through his knowledge again to come out of that pit. And you have guys that want to stay in the pit. They don't want to come out of the pit. They got the rope. We you know, we're pulling ourselves up through the rope, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem El Shai, but they want to stay in the pit, and they want to drag you back down in that pit. My goodness. Go ahead.
Do ye thus recruit the Lord, O foolish people and unwise? Is not he thy father that have brought thee? Have he not made thee and established thee?
Oh, wait a minute. You know what, brother? I just thought of something. Do me a favor. Hold on deck. Or you could just write it down if you want. Matter of fact, let me just pull it up here. That way we'll have it. Let me just pull it up here. It just came to mind. And I'm just gonna have that on deck. All right. So go ahead, read on, brother.
Right. Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee.
Right, because you have to know where you come from to know where you're going, you know, because there is a judgment going to be meted out on the earth, and it's done by way of nations. The nation of Israel is the Most High's inheritance. They're the ones that's going to benefit in the kingdom, and the other nations are going into slavery. So you have to know where you come from, so you know where you're going. If you don't know who you come from, then you don't know where you're going. You know, so it's impossible for there not to be any nations. You know, read on.
When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance.
Right. So when the Most High created all these people, right, he created nations, because out of these different men that came out, there came out nations. All right. It says, so when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, he gave each nation a portion of land. That was their inheritance. Go ahead.
When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam.
When he separated the sons of Adam, because if the Most High wanted just one nation of people or just one people, he wouldn't have created nations. He would have just made everybody just one. You know, he would have just sent all the spirits down on the earth and said, look, you're just a human family. Don't worry about, never mind Genesis, the 10th chapter, the table of nations, as the so-called scholars call it. You're just a human family. You know, and I'm going to treat you all equally. Why did the Most High have to go through separating Israel from these nations, giving them laws, statutes, and commandments, giving them things that are pleasing unto him, telling them not to follow the ways of these nations, so on and so forth. If the Lord wanted all people to come together as one. And what goes for the Old Testament goes for the New Testament, because that's another thing these clowns try to do. They try to separate the Old Testament from the New Testament, saying that the New Testament, that was the sentiment of the Most High back then, but now this is the Most High sentiment. Get out the fuck out of here. Read that again, Art.
When the Deuteronomy 32:8, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam.
So he separated the sons of Adam. That's why you had Adam, you had Seth, and you had the sons of God, which is the righteous lineage, and then you had Cain, and you had his descendants, which was the wicked lineage, and then you had the other nations. They were all a part of that. So it was 3 classifications of men. Why were there 3 classifications of men? Because the Most High divided them up that way. Go ahead.
When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
Right. He gave all them different nations their lands. He set boundaries, but he gave Israel the best portion of land, which is the land of Israel, Palestine. You know, that was the Fertile Crescent. And when you look at the inheritance of the nation of Israel, land-wise, it goes all the way from the river in Egypt all the way up to the Euphrates River. And that's all considered the Fertile Crescent by the so-called scholars. Go ahead. Yeah, bring it out, brother.
Deuteronomy 4:5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land, whether ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nation, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Wait a minute, brother. I thought there's no more nations. It says, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. And that's why the Most High gave us the laws, statutes, and commandments to be a special people unto him, to be a holy people unto him, to be a separate people unto him, to do according to not to do according to the manner of the nations, because the Most High wasn't dealing with them nations. That's why it says that their gods are just idols. All right, so let's go. That was it on that.
2 more verses.
Go ahead.
Verse 7. For what nation is there so great who have the Most High so nigh unto them?
So how was the Most High so nigh unto us? By giving us his laws, statutes, and commandments. He embraced us through the promise he made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Go ahead.
As the Lord our power is in all things that we call upon him for.
Go ahead.
And what nation is there so great?
Why does it keep using the word nation? I thought nations were no more. But go ahead.
That have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day.
Right. So that was what separated us. That's what made us special. That's what made us a peculiar treasure unto the Lord. Okay. So now that was it, right?
Yep.
Okay. So now let's go back to Deuteronomy 32 and read the 9th verse, and then we'll jump around from there.
Right. Deuteronomy 32, verse 9. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
Right. So the Lord's portion is his people. Who's his people? Jacob is the lot of his inheritance, because he made a promise to Abraham that in him all nations shall be blessed. So now where did that blessing rest, or that promise rest on? The head of Jacob and all of his descendants, because he had Isaac, and then Isaac had Jacob and Esau, and it went through to Jacob, because it didn't go to Abraham's sons by Keturah. It didn't go to Abraham's son Ishmael. It went to Isaac, and from Isaac it jumped to Jacob. See, because the Most High was directing that his promise to the people of the promise, or the seed of the promise, which is Israel. All right, so it said the Most High said he created these nations. He separated the sons of Adam, right? So now let's go to Ecclesiastes 3 and 14.
Ecclesiastes.
Because that jackass, he made a statement. He said that was a sentiment of the Old Testament, you know, but in the New Testament it's something different now. Like the Most High changes. Go ahead.
Right, Ecclesiastes 3, verse 14. I know that whatsoever God doeth, it shall be forever.
Right. So I know that whatsoever the Most High doeth, it shall be forever. That means it's going to be on continuous from age after age after age. Go ahead.
Right. I know that whatsoever the Most High doeth, it shall be forever.
Go ahead.
Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it.
Right. So nothing can be put to it. You can't add to it, and you can't take away from it. Matter of fact, brother, get Proverbs 30. Proverbs chapter 30, verse 5, is it? Let's get that real quick.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead.
Got it?
Proverbs 30 and 5.
Gone.
Proverbs 30 and 5. Every word of the Most High is pure.
Yep.
He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him.
Right. So every word of the Most High is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. Go ahead.
Add thou not unto his words, lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar.
Right. Add thou not unto his words, lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar. So this guy Ssoreal is being proven or has been proven to be a liar because the Most High created these nations and he set up nations. So now let's go from there. Matter of fact, jump from there, same brother, Revelation 22 and 18. Because this guy is dangerous. Well, he's gonna be destroyed for that. You know, and I honestly don't see him changing from that. I don't see him turning around from that. It'll be a miracle if he does switch and change and repent from that. I don't see that happening. You know? So go ahead, brother. Got it?
What was it? Revelation?
Revelation 22:18. I got it right here if you want to read it off there.
Revelations 22, verse 18. For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, the Most High shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book.
Right. And what is one of the main plagues that are written in the book? The nuclear destruction, the lake of fire, which is that thermonuclear fire. Go ahead. So if you add, this guy is adding to the book and he's taking away from the book. So by him adding, the Most High is going to add the plagues to him. Go ahead.
And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, the Most High shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city and from the things which are written in this book.
Right. So if he is an Israelite indeed, then he'll be destroyed and he'll come back in the kingdom. He won't make it into the kingdom the first try. But if he's a chocolate covered Edomite, he's going into slavery anyway. This is the brother Karatas out in he took the scripture down. Okay. He had put the scripture in Psalms, which is okay, here we go. Psalms 33:11. The counsel of the Lord standeth forever, the thoughts of his heart to all generations. And that's why the Lord set that up. Now we don't read the lost books. What lost books you talking about? Is this guy a scoffer or what? Are we moving on? We ain't got time for we ain't got no time. If you coming, you better come right, or you're gonna get the raid upon you. You're gonna get the spiritual raid sicked on you. Let's go back to Ecclesiastes 3 and 14.
Ecclesiastes 3, verse
4. You know, I mean, we're going into the topic of nations, and you got these guys. Do you read what the hell's wrong with you people, man? Go ahead, brother.
Ecclesiastes 3 and 14. I know that whatsoever the Most High doeth, it shall be forever.
Right. I know that whatsoever the Most High doeth, it shall be forever. Did not we just read that the Most High created these nations and separated these nations one from the other? Go ahead.
Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. And the Most High doeth it, that men should fear before him.
Right. And the Most High doeth it, that men shall fear before him, because he's the one in control. Just because you say there's no more nations, does that mean there's no more nations? Obviously, this person does not understand the concept of a nation. A nation is set up by men. That's why the Most High, from the beginning, set up men to do this. Matter of fact, let's get one more precept, and then we'll go into that. Matter of fact, I'll read it. Malachi 3 and 6. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. The Most High doesn't change. If the Most High says something, well, damn it, it's going to come to pass. You got to bring it out, brother.
Ecclesiastes 4 and 16. there is no end of all the people,
Woo!
even all that have been before them.
That's right. There's no end of all the people, even of all that have been before him. Go ahead.
They also that come after shall not rejoice in him. Surely this also is vanity and vexation of spirit.
Right. So the people that are created on the earth, there's no end to any of them. They're all still here. When you go back, which we're going to read to the book of Genesis, the 10th chapter, it's called the so-called Table of Nations, because that's where all the people of the earth came out of. They came out of Shem, either Shem, Ham, or Japheth. And out of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, you also have the different nations that came out of them. But everybody goes back to those three men, which came out of the loins of Noah. So everybody on the planet Earth today comes out of the loins of Noah, which Noah was of the chosen line of Adam, which was the sons of God. So out of him came Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And then that's how the earth was repopulated, because there was a great flood that took place that destroyed all the people on the planet except for 8 souls. All right.
I got one more.
Yeah, bring it out, brother.
I've got another precept. Romans 3:3. For what if some did not believe?
Right. What if some did not believe? Go ahead.
Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect?
So just because you don't believe the doctrine that's being taught doesn't mean that you're going to make the word of the Lord of none effect. You're not going to negate the word of the Lord. For you to make a stupid statement like that there's no more nations, that shows how moronic you are. You know? Either you just completely blind, or you just doing this on purpose. And only the simple are going to follow you. Go ahead.
The Most High forbid. Yea, let the Most High be true, but every man a liar.
Right. Let the Most High be true, but every man a liar. Meaning what's written in the book, let that be the truth. And whatever the hell you're saying, a lie. Because there are plenty of nations, and there are still nations on the planet Earth, because the Most High said he doesn't change. All right. The Most High said that what he does forever. He's not going to change it. You know? And he's specific. He said there's no end of people, but there's going to come a point where there's a time frame where the nation of Edom is going to be totally annihilated and wiped out, because that was a judgment that was set by the Lord for a future judgment, because these people were set up to be the wicked, and they were set up to show the world what it is to be wicked and what's going to happen to the wicked if they do wickedness, and that is to be destroyed. And that's the reason why they were created. They were created as vessels of destruction. All right.
I've got a little bit, just a little bit more.
Go ahead, brother.
What you just said as well. As it is written that thou mightest, as it is written that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings and mightest overcome when thou art judged. Right.
So you might be justified in your sayings and overcome when thou art judged, because now he cannot prove that statement that he made, that there are no nations. Neither could he prove any of his other BS arguments. But that stupid statement that there are no more nations anymore, that is totally ridiculous. And he cannot prove that. All right. So that was it on that, right, brother? You had something? All right, bring it out.
This is on the nations. And Revelations 2, and I'll start from 25. But that which ye have already, hold fast till I come.
Mm-hmm.
And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nation.
Right. To him will I give power over the nation. So this is when? This is in the kingdom, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So there's no more nations.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that scripture going to be fulfilled? How is that prophecy going to be fulfilled if there's no more nations? And part of the promise is that we're going to have slaves, or the nations as slaves.
Yeah.
That's right.
Go ahead. Matter of fact, that goes perfect with Psalms, the 2nd chapter. Go ahead, brother.
And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
Right, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. So we're going to have power over the nations to rule over them, with a rod of iron. Was that it on that?
Yeah, that was it.
All right, now we're going to go from there to Genesis 9:18. So if anybody got that, they could read it.
Genesis chapter 9, verse 18. And the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem and Ham and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan.
Go ahead.
These are the 3 sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread.
So of them was a whole earth overspread. Now jump to the 10th chapter and the 32nd verse.
Genesis 10 and 32. These are the families of the sons of Noah after their generations in their nations.
Who and their what?
In their nations.
So the Most High created nations, and he separated nations. Go ahead.
And by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood.
And by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. That's the reason why you have different nations. And those children are of that nation. Whatever their father is, that's who they are. That's why Nehemiah, he got so pissed off with Jake back then, because they were having children with the women of these other nations, and the children were learning the ways of their mothers. Instead of learning, they couldn't even speak their own language because they were following behind the women and their customs and their language and their laws. And that's why Nehemiah got pissed off. Now, if they would have been keeping, they would have been able to speak their own language and been keeping the law, statutes, and commandments that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua gave us. Do you think Nehemiah would have did that to them? No. He beat the hell out of them because they were going off. They were breaking the law, not because he was dealing with them. They were dealing with them women, because they weren't teaching their sons the truth. And Apostle Gabar just put up a scripture. Damn, brother's putting some damn good precepts. All right, let me start off with this. Apostle Gabar put Acts 17:26, and hath made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth. So there's one man that everything could be traced back to right now in this time, Adam, right? But the Most High made what? He made nations out of one blood, but he created nations. So although everybody has Adam to go back to, there was a separation in these different nations. So the different sons that came out of Adam, they were all separated. Easy. It says, and hath made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and have determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation. The brother GMS Vegas sit down. Damn, so many precepts going up. I lost my okay. Jeremiah 31:36. If those ordinances depart from before me, saith the Lord, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. So you still have the moon, you still have the sun, you still have the stars.
Yep.
So the nation of Israel is still a nation on the planet. But this clown said that there's no more nations. And that's that New World Order bullshit doctrine of e pluribus unum, out of many one. So they don't want nations. They just want mindless robots, mindless idiots, to serve them. That's why they're trying to break down that barrier of nation. That's why they're trying to do away with that word nation. And that's why you have clowns like this guy so wrong that's saying stupid statements like there's no more nations. Go ahead, brother. You got something?
There's a scripture.
Were you finishing in Genesis 10:32?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now, yeah, brothers, my goodness, I can't keep up with you brothers on the comment board. But let's go from there to the book of Revelation 5 and 8, because you just read in Revelation, the 2nd chapter, that part of the promise is that we're going to receive the nations as slaves, and we're going to bust them up. So should we listen to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, or should we listen to So Wrong? Well, as for me and my house, we're going to follow Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, so somebody read that.
Quick precept.
Okay, bring it out.
Isaiah 8:20. To the law and to the testimony.
Get down, brother.
If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them.
Right. So if they don't speak according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. And see, he's trying to say that, and I'm pretty sure if you was to ask him, he'll say that the Old Testament is done away with, or we don't no longer follow the Old Testament, because that's what these so-called Christians say. But part of the new covenant is that the law, statutes, and commandments are going to be put into our or inward parts. What law, statutes, and commandments? Was there a new set of law, statutes, and commandments that was given? No, it's the same one from the past. But the thing is, this time, the better promise is that it was dedicated by Yahweh's blood, and it's going to be put into our inward parts so that we can keep it perfectly. All right, so now let's go from there to Revelation 5 and 8.
Revelations 5, verse 8. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of saints.
Right, and this was the glorification of Yahweh in the man. You know what, man? This guy. Get rid of this guy, man. All right, so read that again, brother. You always got some clowns, man. Yeah, brother.
Revelations 5, verse 8. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of saints.
Right. So this is the prayers of the saints going up, but this is also the glorification of Yahweh and the great sacrifice that he made, and taking his rightful place, on the right hand side of the Most High. So that as they're going through this lauding and this what's the word I'm looking for, like congratulating Yahweh Shai, so to speak, patting him on the back for a job a job well done. This is what's being said to him. Go ahead.
Right, verse 9. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou was slain and hast redeemed us to the Most High by thy blood out of every kindred, and tongue and people and nation
and what
and nation
and what
and nation
and nation. So how in the hell can nations be done away with if the scriptures keep speaking about these nations? And in the future, like the brother just read, we just read on the comment board that if the sun and the moon and the stars stop giving their light, that the nation of Israel will stop being a nation. And we can still see the sun, the moon, and the stars shining. So the things that the Lord did before in the past, he's bringing them back now to cement them. Because matter of fact, before you read on there, I think that was the main point there. Matter of fact, get Revelation 7 and 9. But let me get this precept that just popped up into mind. Damn. Yeah, if it comes back, I'll get it. There was this precept that just popped into mind, but it just escaped me. So you know what? Read that one, brother. Fuck.
Okay.
Hate that, man.
Yeah.
Well, Revelations 7, verse 9. And after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds.
Right? Wait, whoa. It said what? After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number. When is this going to take place? When the kingdom comes. This is the salvation. This is when Israel is being delivered and saved. Go ahead.
Which no man could number, of all nations.
Of all nations. See, because you have Israelites that were scattered through all the nations. That's why a brother earlier put the scripture in Acts. Let me just get that real quick. Put the scripture in Acts 2 and 5, where it says, and there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. So I guess the Most High just missed that. See how stupid this guy sounds? It says that there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews. Why? Because it was the time of the Passover, and there were 3 times during the year where it was required for all the males of Israel to go to Jerusalem to worship these feasts. So it says that in Jerusalem, there were Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. They came there and they gave some of the different nations where they were scattered at back then. Okay, so read that again, brother.
Right, Revelation 7 and 9. And after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands.
So these were Israelites that were brought from all these different nations. And this is talking about this time now when the salvation is coming. So, but I thought that all nations were done away with. And we're reading in the New Testament. That just goes to show that this guy is inept. You know, I'm going to use one of Apostle Gabar's words. He's very inept. You know, he's unlearned, he's inept, and he's trying to soothe the wounds of an Edomite if the guy is an actual Edomite. You know, he may be an Israelite that looks like an Edomite, you know, but he's trying to soothe the wounds of Esau because Esau don't give a damn, man. They don't fear. They don't give a damn about, you know, they don't believe what the Most High says, you know, but let's just say that the case is he is an Edomite. He's trying to soothe the wounds of an Edomite, you know, and he's trying to, let me get this real quick. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 13 and 19. And will you pollute me among my people for handfuls of barley and for pieces of bread? Because you do have sellouts out there that actually sold out for substance. It says to slay the souls that should not die. Because here it is, we're the ones, you know, through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shem Yahshua. I'll just say this: the elect are the souls that should not die. But they're saying you guys are going to die. You guys are going to be destroyed for teaching what you're teaching. It says, and to save the souls alive that should not live. And they're trying to save Esau alive, and he should not live. Because after 1,000 years, they're going to be destroyed. They're going to go right into slavery. It says, by your lying to my people that hear your lies. And that's what's happening. And you got some jakes that are simple enough that believe this guy. That's what the scripture said. The simple believeth every word, but the prudent look well till they're going. You know? Hey, if you brothers have anything you want to say.
Yeah, I got a quick James 1 and 1.
All right, hold on. Let me get that. James 1 and 1. Go ahead.
James 1 and 1. James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahweh Shai, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeted.
That's right. Go ahead. You got it, brother.
Pretty much.
You got it, brother.
The Israelites, man, they were scattered through the four corners of the earth, and it tells you that in Deuteronomy 28 that was one of the curses that happened to us. And then when that happened, they like all throughout in the scriptures, you find examples of the Israelites adopting the customs of the other nations, and you know, basically acting like the other nations. Like you got the whole Hellenization thing, you know.
You got it, brother.
Yeah. So I mean, so when the prophets and stuff went out, they was going among lands or places where, you know, heathens would be at, and they were pulling the Israelites from among them and waking them up to their nationality, you know, giving them this the word, man, you know.
That's right, brother. That's right. And were they among nations? You know, because according to this guy, the nations have been gone. Yeah, but like Apostle Gabar put, it said if Esau was to be ruling in the kingdom with us, it would be the same old shit, and it's true. And he said that the kingdom is a much needed vacation from Esau, and that's the truth, because that's the main demon right now that we're battling, you know, because he's the one that's in control of everything, you know.
I got a precept.
Yeah, bring it out.
Revelations 19 and 11. It's a prophecy. And I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High. The Word of the Most High. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations.
Woo, the what?
The nations.
I thought the nations were done away with.
They would after that.
Yeah, it says, and out of his and out of his mouth goeth the sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. So don't listen to that clown, man. Go ahead.
And he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
Right, because if the nations were done away with, then how would the Lord Yahweh Shai be able to rule over these nations with a rod of iron?
Okay.
And how would he be able to take vengeance on his enemies if these nations were done away with? And if there were no more nations, it's just a bunch of a cluster of mixed nuts. Sauteed mixed nuts.
Yeah.
You know? The hell out of here, man. Go ahead, brother.
And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty power.
Right, and that you better be damn sure that you're gonna have when the judgment is coming, Yahweh Shai is gonna know exactly who the people he's destroying are. He say, okay, this is this person of this nation, that nation, Edomites, Moabites, Ammonites, 2/3 of Israel. He's gonna know exactly who he's taking out. And the scripture said that the slain of the Lord shall be many. All right.
One more verse.
Go ahead.
And he have on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
Right, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Why? Because he's going to take down all these nations. Yep. All right, you got it so wrong. Nations. So there are no more nations. What? All right. So now, okay, we finished in Revelation 7. We finished Revelation 19. You brothers got any other precepts?
I got a precept.
All right.
1 Peter's chapter 2, verse 9. It says, actually I'll start from 8. And a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people.
A holy nation, go ahead.
A holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who have called you out of darkness into his marvelous light.
Right, that's right. You know, so bottom line, you know, that's the deal. You know, that you have nations and you will always have nations. You know, and the Most High, out of all the people that were created, he separated, divided all the nations, put them in their rightful places, and then but he chose the nation of Israel to be his people and gave us law, statutes, and commandments to separate us from these nations. It's just that simple, you know. And there is gonna always be nations. There will always be nations on the planet Earth, because that's something that the Most High created. This is Numbers 23:19. The Most High is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? So the Lord gave his word on these things. That's why he says that his law is above his name. Yep. So he's not going to change it, not even for his great name's sake, because he couldn't swear by anything greater, so he swore by himself. So he's not going to make himself look bad, you know. So the Most High is not a man that he should lie. Bring it out, brother.
Isaiah 34:1. Come near, ye nations.
Ooh, stop it. Read it again. Read it again.
Isaiah 34.
Now, is this a future prophecy?
It's a future prophecy.
All right.
Come near, ye nations, to hear.
Right. Come near, ye nations to hear.
And hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it.
Right. So the Lord is about to do something. Go ahead.
For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations.
Right. The indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, because those nations are still here, and they still are of the particular nation that they came from through their father's line. It doesn't matter what they look like. Oh, that's the scripture that I wanted to get. Salaki, brother, before you read on, that the precept just came back to precept that I was looking for earlier came back to me, because all different nations on the earth have mingled themselves with the women of other nations, and and all different nations look different now, you know, some of them, but the Lord is going to send his angels to separate all of this. Let me see if I can find that precept real quick. Let me just back up just a little bit.
Is it the one where it says the angel shall come forth and sever the wicked?
Yeah, that's a little further down. Yep. You know what? Let's start here. We hold on to that, brother. This is Matthew 13:24. You got that?
Okay, yeah, I got that. Matthew 13 and 24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way.
And who's the enemy? That's Esau. He sowed his seed among the Israelites during that time because he was raping the women. That was part of the curses. Go ahead.
But when, right, 26. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also.
Right, so you had the real fruit and then you had the tares. Now, some of the real fruit looked like the tares, and some of the tares looked like the real fruit. You know? Go ahead.
So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then have it tares?
Right, because the good seed is what? The nation of Israel. How the hell did these tares spring up among the nation of Israel? Go ahead.
He said unto them, an enemy have done this.
Right, an enemy have done this. An adversary, the devil have done this. Who's the devil? Esau, the so-called white man. Go ahead.
The servant said unto him, will thou then that we go and gather them up?
Yeah, let us go and gather up. Should we go and gather them up? Should we pluck them away from the Israelites? We could tell, okay, that one looks like a Edomite. That one looks like. Let's go over there and pluck them away from the Israelites, because this is tares, man. We can't have that. Well, let's see what the Lord said.
But he said, nay, least while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat.
Why? Why did he say that? Now, I didn't explain it in the parable, but the reason why he said that was because some of the wheat looked like the tare, and some of the tares looked like the wheat. So you can go and try to grab a wheat that looks like the tare, and you're pulling out one of the children of the kingdom. You know, the same thing that you might go and grab a tare that looks like the wheat. You know, and you won't pull him out because you say no, well, he looks like them. No, that's why the Most High is the one that's coming back to do the separation, and that's why. Read on.
29 again, Matthew 13:29. But he said, nay, least while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn.
Right. So no matter what the wheat looks like, it's going to be gathered into barns. And no matter what the tare looks like, they're going to be destroyed. So even if the tare looks like the wheat, they're still going to be destroyed. You know, like that guy's so real, so wrong. If he happens to be a chocolate covered Edomite, he's a tare. But he's a tare that looks like the wheat. You know, so they would accept him if he's an Edomite. They would accept him because the way he looks. He got the dreads, he got the dark skin. But if he's an Edomite, then he's not a part of it. He's a tare. So we have to wait till the end, till the angels come back, which jump down to that 38th verse.
Right.
Because the Most High knows everything. He knows who's who. Matter of fact, start at the 37th verse. He knows who are the Israelites. He knows who are the Edomites, who are the Hamites, all of that. Okay, and that's why the Apostle John on the island of Patmos, when he saw that great multitude, he saw them looking like different nations, and he was like, I don't know who these people are. And then that's what the angel said, these are they that came through great tribulation, because these are part of the ones that will be saved. You know, this is part of the wheat that look like the tares, but they're saved, and they're pulled into the barns, and the barns being the chariots.
Just a quick
bring out,
Daniel's 9 and 7.
Beautiful.
O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces, as at this day. To the to the men of Judah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel that are near and that are far off.
That's right, because you have confusion of faces. You have Israelites out there that don't look like Israelites. That's why the guy he was talking to that believes he's an Edomite, he might be a Jake. Why? Because he was nervous and afraid of the judgment that was to come, you know? So he was afraid to be an Edomite, you know? The Esau don't have fear like that, you know? Go ahead.
Well, yeah. Through all the countries, through all the countries, whether thou hast driven them because of their trespass, they have trespassed against thee.
And that's the reason why they went through that, you know, and that's why there's a big confusion in the faces of who Israel is. Apostle Gabar just put the scripture up, Acts 15:18, known unto the Most High are all his works from the beginning of the world. Why? Because here it is. You have let me get this precept real quick. This is the book of Hosea, chapter 5. I'll read that again what Apostle Gabar put. He says, Acts 15:18, known unto the Most High are all his works from the beginning of the world. So no matter where Israel is, the Most High knows who they are, no matter what they look like. That's why he said, wait, which we're going to read, wait until the angel comes, so that the angel can do the sifting. This is Hosea 5:3. I know Ephraim and Israel is not hid from me. So no matter where the Israelites are, the Most High knows who they are. And the Most High is a power of controversy. So he'll have somebody come in that looks like another nation just to stir up that controversy. You know? It says, I know Ephraim and Israel is not hid from me, for now, O Ephraim, thou committest whoredom and Israel is defiled. So now jump back to Matthew 13. You have more?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Matthew 13 and 37.
Matthew 13, verse 37. He answered and said unto them, he that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom.
Yep. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, meaning the Israelites. And the Israelites are not going to all come looking like John Shaft, you know, or Wesley Snipes, you know, or Idris Elba. You know, they're going to come in different flavors because Israel has been mixed. Go ahead.
The good seed are the children of the kingdom.
The good seed are the children of the kingdom, no matter what they look like. Go ahead.
But the tares are the children of the wicked one.
But the tares are the children of the wicked one. Go ahead.
The enemy that sold them is the devil,
which is Esau, the so-called white man. Go ahead.
The harvest is the end of the world.
The harvest is the end of the world. Go ahead.
And the reapers are the angels.
So the reapers are the angels. They're the ones that's going to be plucking the wheat, no matter what they look like. Go ahead.
As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world.
So all these in America, all these different Jakes, or all these different Edomites that look like Jakes, they're going to be burnt up here in America. Go ahead.
The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend.
Right, because all things that offend will not be going into the kingdom of the Most High. Because in the kingdom of the Most High, that's one of the things that he's going to do. He's going to stop the wicked from ruling. Because if the wicked come into the kingdom of heaven, they're going to defile the kingdom. And it won't be righteous. Because the wicked will be ruling. It says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the judges of he covers the faces of the judges thereof.
Just as a point.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
And when that happened, when the wicked did come into the temple, that's called the abomination of desolation.
Woo!
So,
damn.
You know.
That was a all right, go ahead, brother. Where we at?
Yeah, Matthew 13. Where did I leave off?
41.
41. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity.
That's right.
And shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth.
There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Go ahead.
Then shall the righteous, which are Israelites, man. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who have ears to hear, let him hear.
Right, because only the Israelites are going to shine forth. And the first ones that's going to taste of that, which is called the first resurrection, are the elect. Bottom line. All right, so now let's finish up where you were at.
Isaiah 34:3. I'll start from 2 actually. Verse 2. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He have utterly destroyed them. He have delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood.
That's right. So now let me jump here, Zephaniah 3:8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, unto the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, which they said that this guy said that there's no more nations. So who's the Most High going to gather them? So the Lord, the Most High said his determination is to gather all nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. You know? So you have more?
Nah.
Okay, so that was pretty much anybody got any more precepts? Any closing statements?
I'll just bring the scripture.
All right, bring it up.
Hosea 13 and 9, pretty much on what you just read. It says, "O Israel, thou hast destroyed thyself, for in me is thine help."
That's right. So even though Israel destroyed himself, even though we were at a low condition, the Lord is going to help us and bring us back to power. And we are going to be a nation, and we are a nation. All right. Regardless of what this crackpot says, you know. All right, so any closing statements? All right, so with that, you know, we hope you brothers have been edified. Don't listen to this guy. So wrong. He's bugged out. You know, he's just winging things out of his mouth without having any proof. And now he's saying because everybody's mixed that proves there's no more nations. That's an idiotic and moronic thing to say. All right. So with that, hope you brothers have been edified. To the next time we say shalom.
Shalom.